primary runoff election day here in Texas. Democrats and Republicans are deciding who they want to represent their party in the November midterm election.
And polls close in about an hour, so if you're one of the millions of eligible Texas voters who hasn't voted yet, there is still some time. The race making the most headlines is the U.S. Senate Republican primary runoff. Senator John Cornyn is hoping to hold on to his seat, but Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton wants his job, and as of last week, he has President Donald Trump's endorsement. We have team coverage of that race with KVUE's Daniel Perot and Darenisha Herron.
And let's start with Daniel, who joins us now live from Plano in North Texas, where Attorney General Paxton is holding his watch party tonight. Daniel.
It's a fairly empty room here at this watch party tonight, but we expect that'll change here in the next few minutes as people start to file in and the watch party gets underway. Attorney General Paxton and his campaign are still riding high after last week's endorsement by President Donald Trump. They're hoping that will help carry them to victory this evening. This race has really been a tug of war between different wings and factions of the Republican Party. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton often goes after Senator John Cornyn for the length of his political career. He paints Cornyn as a member of the GOP establishment who lacks the fight the base is looking for. On the campaign trail, Paxton often challenges voters to name one of Cornyn's accomplishments from his time in office and contrast that with his record doing the Biden administration and left-leaning organizations. He's vowed to take a sledgehammer to customs in Washington, D.C. Senator Cornyn and his allies have vastly outspent Paxton and his allies in this race, blanketing the state in ads to attack Paxton and encourage their supporters to vote. Paxton says he believes he can overcome that, though.
It was 20-1 in the first round. It's probably going to be more like 10-1 by the time we're done. So what? We can win this with people. People that care about what's happening in Texas and people that care about sending a message to Washington that it's time to have two senators fighting for them.
If Paxton wins tonight, some within the Republican Party have expressed concern his personal and political baggage will weaken him in a general election matchup. Paxton and his supporters say they don't buy that. Generally speaking, runoff electorates tend to be smaller and more conservative, which experts say naturally is an advantage for Paxton. But it's all going to really come down to which campaign does a better job at getting their supporters from March back out to the polls to vote in this runoff election. A ton of storylines that we'll be following from here in Plano, including what impact President Trump's endorsement in this race has, as well as how supporters of Congressman Wesley Hunt, who came in third place back in March, vote, if they vote at all. But for now, we do want to send things back to Austin, and that's where we find my colleague Darenisha Herron. She's covering Senator Cornyn's campaign tonight, and Darenisha, Senator Cornyn and his team are going to be in downtown Austin as they watch the results come in, but they're not going to have a big party like we expect to have here in Plano.
Yeah, Daniel, no watch party here tonight. Is going to be a very quiet night until Senator John Cornyn comes out and speaks to the media. We expect that to happen after the polls close and those numbers start to roll in. Look, this is a very intense race for Senator Cornyn. He's essentially fighting for his political life, a seat he has held for 4 terms. As Daniel just mentioned, he lost out on the president's endorsement last week and has said the president has a right to make his pick, but he thinks Texans will make up their own minds about this race. At the beginning of this runoff, the president made flattering comments about both Paxton and Cornyn. And at the event in San Antonio yesterday, the senator touted his closeness to the president on some key issues.
You know, I've worked with the president a long time, and I want him to be successful. I'm proud of my voting record, supporting him 99.3% of the time, and appreciate his comments about me in the early stages of this runoff, where he called me a good man and a friend.
Cornyn says if Ken Paxton wins, his baggage, which includes allegations of abusing his office, bribery, fraud, and infidelity, will bring the party down. Cornyn has had the support of Senate Republicans who have also expressed concerns that Paxton's past controversies will make him a liability against State Rep James Tallarico in November. So again, no party here tonight, but once Senator John Cornyn comes out, we'll bring that to you live on KVUE Plus. Live in downtown Austin, I'm Darrenisha Heron, KVUE News.
Darrenisha, thank you. We'll be checking in, definitely.